Hello viewers and welcome to another episode of Welcome to Lancer. In today's episode, Draco, from Bahamut Industries, by Iteration Drive. Draco is the Latin word for serpent or dragon, that's basically it. Draco, or dragon, is also often depicted as a four-legged, winged reptilian beast capable of breathing fire. And named after such legendary creature, Draco can set the world on fire and watch it burn. But first, let's take a look at core bonuses from Bahamut Industries. Bahamut Industries is literally a cult, originating from a world decorated with ancient technological ruins. Stories of Bahamut the Great Protector, an ancient historical figure that served as an educator, protector, and caretaker, were told throughout the ruins, and the cult followed their examples. With technologies and schematics salvaged from the world, the cult started off their business by manufacturing a wide variety of products, including but not limited to, mechs. While their mechs were a little odd in some ways, they still do a very good job at their role without overly complicating things. And just like their mechs, the core bonuses they provide were a little strange, but could be quite useful to everyone. Dragon's Eye sharpens your sight. Upon activation as a protocol, you increase your sensor range by 10 but also immobilize yourself, both last until the start of your next turn. To be honest, this is kinda crazy good because increasing sensor range can dramatically change a mech's tech capability, and increasing it by 10 is probably gonna break something. Dragon's Scales hardens your skin. Your mech is now immune to environmental heat and burn effects. I don't think I need to explain this again for the nth time, it's just good for lava land. Dragon's Adaptation strengthens your might. When you print your mech, you can increase one of the following stats by 1 until your next mech printing. Basically, any drawback or advantage you find on your mech, you can slightly decrease or elevate it. Dragon's Hoard enriches your stash. Your mech now has 2 additional system points that you must use on limited systems. If you want to throw more stuff at your enemies, this seems like a good choice. And finally, Dragon's Crusade improves your instinct. When you take a structure damage or overheating stress, you could make a skirmish action before rolling for the checks. This is rather familiar, but it's still very useful if you want to strike out even at death. Anyway, with core bonuses of Bahamut Industries done, let's take a look at Draco. Looking at its stat, Draco has average health, no armor, good evasion, and average E defense. It's rather fast while being average sized, has a high heat cap and good repair cap, but its sensor range is rather short, tech attack bonus is poor. It does have a nice save target though. As for its traits, it has 2 of them. First, Righteous Flame, for once per round, Draco can inflict +1 heat to a target it hits with its weapon attack. Second, Flame Shaper, when Draco would affect characters within a cone, blast, line, or burst pattern, it can choose up to 4 characters to be unaffected by the pattern. Essentially, Draco is really good at heating people up, and even when it sets everything on Inferno, it can choose people that won't be affected by it. Onto its weapon mounts, it has 3, 1 double auxiliary, and 2 flex, along with 6 base system points. As for its core power, Draco can unleash Bahamut's Cunning. Upon activation, until the end of the scene, Draco will have the protocol of the same name. As a protocol, you can select to blast one area within range 5 to be set on fire until the start of your next turn. This blaze can provide soft cover, does not block line of sight, and anyone that starts their turn within or moves through the area for the first time in their turn will take 1 heat and 1 burn. You may also take an additional 2 heat to make it a blast 2, or 4 heat to make it a blast 3. And if that wasn't enough fire, you may create a new area with a quick action, or 2 with a full action on your turn, that also follows the same rule as above. Basically, Bahamut's Cunning is going to set literally everything on fire, and the only thing stopping it from barely burning out your allies is Draco's traits. As for the rest of its license, you get Flame Launcher and Napalm Wall in the first section. Flame Launcher doesn't leave much imagination on what it does. Low damage, 1 burn, 1 heat, short line pattern, and costs 2 heat to fire. It's decent at burning quite a few enemies at once, but you won't be able to fire it for long. Napalm Wall, because Tactical Inferno should totally be a thing. With a quick action, you can spend a limited charge to deploy the napalm wall as a line 5 section of flame jets that are 4 spaces high within range 10. The wall can provide soft cover and does not block line of sight. Any character that starts their turn within or moves into the wall for the first time on their turn will take 2 heat and 2 burn. The napalm wall lasts until the end of the scene. With its deploy range, the napalm wall can be quite a fantastic obstacle against your enemies. In the second section, aside from Draco frame itself, you get propulsion vents and plasma charges. Propulsion vents: the hotter you are, the faster you will be. Basically, it's a system that increases your speed by 1 for every 3 points of heat you have. And as a free action, you can explosively vent your heat, clearing your heat gauge and moving you a number of spaces equal to the number of heat you just vented. Doing so immediately destroys your systems, and inflicts 3 AP energy damage that cannot be reduced by any means. This is basically just another already numerous option of making you go faster, but at least this one can vent your heat just as quick too. Plasma charges: cooks things up with power of the sun. It's a limited charges system with 2 forms. First, plasma grenade, forces characters within its blast 2 radius to pass an agility save or take 4 heat, 2 on a success. Second, plasma mine, upon activation, forces characters within its burst 1 radius to pass an agility save or take 2 heat, 1 on success. The zone will continue to burn until the end of the triggering character's next turn, providing soft cover and inflicting 1 heat to anyone that starts their turn within or moves into it for the first time on their turn. Basically, if you want to turn up the heat, this will do well. In the final section, you get structural heat sinks, and plasma breath. Structural heat sinks deal with heat the same way you deal with most problems. With this system installed, you gain a protocol called eject structural sinks. When you use it, you immediately lose exposed status, and vent all of your heat. However, you also lose 2 heat capacity, to a minimum of 1, because guess what, you can use this protocol how many times you want. This lasts until the next full repair. This system is basically a big emergency button for any hot problem, but every time you use it, the problem will get to you faster than before. And finally, plasma breath. Again, doesn't leave much for imagination. OK, damage: 2 heat, 2 burn, burst 1, cone 3, costs 2 heat to fire, and you can only mount 1 of these. This is actually a good weapon, capable of setting everyone around you, and in front of you, on fire. The only problem is that you can only fire it when you are in danger zone. As a conclusion, Draco is a controller that really wants to set everything on fire, and it can do it extremely well. Its license is full of tools to do exactly just that, or to vent heat build up in quick but very destructive ways. But if you ever need a mech that can burn down everything in its path, Draco might just be what you are looking for.